Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Gen 4 release of our Rapid Pallet Tracker system, otherwise known as RaPTr. We have a lot of exciting updates to tell you about today, but we will have a pretty brief webinar, probably about 20 to 25 minutes, depending on questions. For your best experience, especially if you're having any technical difficulties, we do recommend closing out any other apps or browsers that you might be using. And I am going to go ahead and enable our Q&A mode right now so that you can, at any time throughout the webinar, ask us a question about the system using that lower right-hand panel where it says type a message to us. Okay. And at the end of the event, we will be sending a link to the recording to everybody who has registered. And we did get some advanced questions from some of you that we will be covering first in that Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Sorry, there we go. Okay, so my name is Andrea Kinker. I do marketing for Artemis Vision, and I am co-presenting this webinar today with Tom Brennan, who is president of Artemis Vision. And Artemis Vision, we are machine vision system integrators. We help companies automate quality inspection and quality control and help with logistics optimization. Sorry, I just got notified that my screen is not being shared here. Okay, can you guys see this now? Good, thank you. So we are Artemis Vision. We help companies with logistics optimization, and that's where RaPTr comes into play here. We have had a lot of interest in this RaPTr system over the past few years, and thanks to all of the interest that we've had in it and evolving technologies out there, as well as the customer feedback we've been getting from everybody, we've been able to make continuous improvements to the system to the point where it's at its most efficient version ever with Gen 4, and we're really excited to bring this to you today. So today we're going to cover what RaPTr is and the benefits that the system offers for those of you who may not be familiar. We will go over all of the enhancements that we've made with Gen 4, talk about what we have planned for future updates, give you some information on lead times and pricing for the system, and then we'll finish out with that Q&A session. So what is RaPTr? RaPTr is an automatic barcode scanning system for warehouse operations. And the key for RaPTr is that it works in motion. It works as kind of a drive-through system. Forklift drivers do not have to dismount from the forklift and can just drive right into the truck while capturing scans automatically. And it automatically stores data with timestamps and image capture. This particular combination is not something that you will find in other competitive offerings out there. And the system does integrate readily with any major WMS software. And for the best idea of how RaPTr works, I'm going to show a brief video here, and this will show, this highlights the new design that we have with Gen 4 as well. Let's see, here we go. So you'll see that it is very compact, super light. It mounts very easily next to a dock door. Just screw it in. You add a monitor of your choice, and the messaging that you see there is customizable. So it's easy for personnel to be able to see if they're bringing a product onto the right truck or not. Okay, so the benefits of RaPTr obviously are that it is fast. There's no need to dismount or stop to scan. Our customers see about 25 minutes saved per truck, and it is the fastest scanner on the market for large scan areas. What that means is roughly about 1.5 meters wide by 2 meters tall for a single camera, and you can always add more cameras if you want to capture a larger area. The system is lean, no more forgetting to scan. You can get increased inventory turns per year and avoid compliance fines like OTIF fees and detention fees. And it is smart. Stop losing pallets, product containers, your gaylords, put product on the right trucks, and you can receive automatic metrics of your inbound and outbound scanning within a built-in web-based reporting tool that comes with the system. And you will also get automatic image capture with scans and timestamps that you can use for photographic proof for verifying damage claims and proving compliance with all of your supply chain partners. And so to go over all the details of the enhancements that we've made with Gen 4, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Tom.
Great. Thanks, Andrea. Go ahead and share my screen here. So what we've improved on the Gen 4 release of RaPTr. The biggest thing we've done is from the mechanical side. The prior system, as you can probably tell, used a security camera enclosure, which is adequate for many applications where security cameras go in. But the dock door has some specific needs, and among those are you need to have a narrower footprint space at that dock door. It can, depending on the location, really be at a premium. You don't have a lot of space for a large thing that goes and sort of takes up 10 inches or 12 inches on the wall. So the new system only takes up about 60 millimeters, 2.5 inches or so on your wall. We also have a high performance optical lens cover instead of security camera viewport, and more rugged aluminum enclosure, stronger mounts, which we'll all walk through, and I'll show you the various components. From a software perspective, we've added more web reporting, a REST API, so a stateless API, which is easier for some customers to integrate with, as well as support for custom plugins. So you can now write your own logic in any, basically anything that'll run on the .NET platform. You can write it, and it can be part of RaPTr. So there's really no limitations now in terms of what you can integrate with and how you can integrate it. And we want to have that philosophy because we know that a lot of these facilities, no two facilities are the same. Everybody has different WMS tied to different print engines, tied to different ERP systems, and you really need to be able to integrate with everything if you want to support your customer well. So we're trying to do that as much as possible and have that philosophy. We've also improved the decode performance on the unit even a little further. Anything that helps you read more codes faster is a good thing. So to show the images of the mechanical changes, you can see on the old unit on the right, we have that much wider plate. So it took up a lot more space on your door. The new unit, this is basically the mount right here. So you're going to put this on the door, and then the system's going to attach to these threaded studs here. So really all you need is about this much space. And this is 1/4 inch angle iron, so 1/4 inch steel. If somebody can shear this off the wall, the wall might come with it. You'll also see on these pictures here the improved viewport. So now we have basically a real optical viewport instead of a security camera viewport. lets you see barcodes crisper, and if anything hits that viewport, you only have to replace the viewport, not the lens. So to walk through some of these mechanical changes, I have a sort of a disassembled unit here to show some of the pieces, but you'll see here on the screen basically that the enclosure is now a slide-off component. So instead of having it snap like it did previously, where it would snap down, it can now slide off. And that enclosure is 3 millimeter thick aluminum and round. So it's quite strong. You're not going to be able to break or crush the enclosure. And as you can see there in the image as well, everything, the camera and lens both mount to a common plate. So that's able to keep the lens and camera anchored together in a common plane, making the system look much more robust. So the lens can't wiggle loose, the camera can't wiggle loose either. Nothing can really get out of position because everything's anchored to this plate. You'll see here in the exploded view, everything is now threaded studs. So you're able to tighten everything down with a wrench. As you can see here, right, we have the threaded studs on the wall plate. We have threaded studs for each of the mount adjustments. So you're able to crank this thing down. You no longer have Phillips head screwdrivers or Allen keys that can strip. Basically, once you tighten this thing down to the wall and tighten down everything where you want it, nothing's going to move. So to walk through it a little faster than I can show it, you'll see that lens cover can come off. You're also going to see here, as we sort of bring that back on and then explode out the camera and lens, everything is standard C-mount optics, which is nice because we don't have a proprietary adapter or anything like that. Everything is swappable if needed for long-term availability of hardware too. As we rotate the unit around here, you're going to see just how everything goes together and mounts. So basically, it all mounts to that common plate, and then we have the wall bracket, and then basically the optics up here. Software-wise, the web reporting allows you to look up specific scans, specific images, specific orders, whatever you need to either contest the damage claim or just look up what might have happened or whether something actually got loaded or not. You also get productivity statistics. So you see here scans per hour plotted in purple. You can tell if productivity is going down. You can spot inefficiencies in your process and really be aware of those supply chain challenges that might be coming before they hit you. So if you see scans per hour not doing so well on a given day, that's a red flag, and to pick up the phone and address the issue. You don't want to be just given the current environment. I know everybody's been caught by various surprises, and the more information you have at your fingertips, the better off you're going to be. For future releases, we're planning on releasing Gen 4B as a software release later in Q3. We're going to add some additional reporting on the web server, as well as making the reports come to your inbox in an email. We found that customers who have had us implement for that for them on a custom basis have really liked it, because every morning they just see in their inbox how everything did yesterday. It makes it really easy to manage your day from a few emailed reports you can just browse through in the morning on your way into work, and then know whether you've got a problem or everything worked well yesterday. We're also adding more features for better reliability. We know that our customers need these systems to work, every day, day in, day out. We're adding capability on the server to basically let you quick swap a unit. So you would take a unit off, put a unit on, and all the settings for that unit are retained on the server so that you can basically just power the thing up and it'll run. We're also adding a sync on network availability. So if your network goes down, you can still, load trucks, ship things out, and get what needs to be done for the day. And then when the network comes back up, the data from our server will sync to your server. We're also continuing to improve performance on barcode reading. It's our aim to continue our market lead in scan performance for these large fields of view and items in motion. In terms of lead times on units and pricing, we've faced some supply chain challenges as well on our end. I know you all have too. Currently, it's September, October lead time for orders placed today, but we're continuing to work to bring that in. We do have a handful of units available today. Obviously we have the unit here, and we have about 3 or 4 more sitting on the shelf. So we're able to provide units, for evaluation or onesie twosie orders, or if anybody needs a spare unit. But lead time on new orders is September, October at the moment. We have had some price increases in our bill of materials. Our cost of these units has increased about 8%. We're, given this, we are going to need to implement a price increase to $9,400 for quotes issued after July 1st. We're working to keep prices steady in 2023, but it is a difficult environment. We're doing everything we can, but at the end of the day, if we try to keep the prices the same with our suppliers, we find that components just aren't available. And I'm sure the people attending this webinar are finding the same, right? If you're trying to pay the same thing you did for trucking in 2019, you're finding that no trucks are available for that price. So in the interest of having units readily available for our customers, the price is going to need to go up to $9,400. And with that, I'll turn things over for questions. And we had a few pre-submitted questions. One question we had is, will this allow for a more pinpointed area to have as a scan area? The way we recommend handling that is to basically the current unit, right, has a lens that's electronically controllable. So you can set the aperture wide open, which gives you, and this is how they ship by default, it gives you a very shallow depth of field, makes it so that the scan area is basically a narrow area as the driver is going to drive right through. So they're going to approach the beginning of the scan area, and then it will scan, and then they'll come through the end of the scan area. And because we're able to support these very fast frame rates, we're able to get multiple frames as they pass through that area and scan the barcode, which is, it basically lets it work so that you don't have to create any specialized setup at your dock door. It's a narrow strip that the driver is going to drive through. I have another question here. Will it be suitable for scanning over many differences of sizes of SKU on a pallet? So at its core, this unit is a barcode reader. So it's going to read whatever barcodes you put in front of it in the scan area, and basically report back to you whether that barcode belongs there or doesn't belong there. So there's no limitation programmed into the system in terms of the number of barcodes there can be or where they can be. It will read all of the barcodes that you show it and report back basically item 1 should be there, item 2 should be there, item 3 should not. The only thing that can get a little confusing if you have tons of items is delivering all that messaging to the driver. So there has to sometimes be some work on the implementation end to make the messaging clear. So we have another question here. What barcode types can your software decode? So right now we support code 128, code 39 for 1D, and for 2D we support data matrix and QR codes. We can support additional symbologies if customers need them, but we found that most applications use one of those 4. And then we have another question here, barcode size and distance software can detect. So the size, basically the limitation that we've targeted is the GS1 spec. So GS1 has specifications for supply chain and logistics, basically spelling out a minimum narrow bar width of a 0.5 millimeter or 20 thousandths, 20 mil code. So we can support codes down to that size for a double stack GS1 compliant labeling. GS1 also specifies that the barcode can't be on the bottom or top 400 millimeters of the pallet. So you have to put the barcode roughly in the middle, and you can't make it ridiculously small, are essentially the parameters for system working. If you currently do make the barcode very small or put it on some arbitrary corner of the pallet, it would be better for your suppliers and others to change that or to basically become GS1 compliant. There's other benefits, but our system we can add an additional camera to make that work if we need to. It can also go a little bit beyond the GS1 spec, but our goal is to support that GS1 spec. And I'm not seeing any further. Oh, how does the system work with my existing WMS? So we can support a handful of different integration modes. You can export data as a CSV or an XML file to the unit. So you just export what's supposed to go on that truck, and then we operate from that list. We can also support stored procedures. So via sort of SQL, MySQL, Oracle, we have a standard stored procedure where basically we provide the barcode and location ID, and we receive a response as to whether that item belongs there or not. We also now have the REST API, and we have the custom plugin available as well. So there's a bunch of different ways that we can interface. Most WMSs are running some form of SQL database under the hood, and so the stored procedure mode is most common, but we can support any of those options. Then we have another question here. As freight moves through the scan area, there are multiple frames captured, so many pictures of the freight are captured. That's correct. So many pictures are captured. We are going to store the barcode read picture by default, but we can also store additional pictures, if desired. There are also settings for having an additional camera that can be triggered by the barcode reading camera. So you can have an additional supplemental camera that's significantly cheaper, it's significantly lower resolution, that can be pointed into the truck to take an image, let's say 15 seconds after the scan, 15 seconds and 30 seconds, or 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and 45 seconds, so that you can see, not only was that pallet scanned at the door, it was successfully loaded in the trailer. So we support a few different ways of doing that. Another question here, the camera captures thermal images, or is it a 3D model from the recording? So we're just capturing 2D images and reading the barcode. What our system is it's a very high performance barcode reader. We found that barcode readers just aren't available for supporting the fields of view, so that the area you need to scan and the speed that you need to scan at the dock door. So we've had customer requests for this actually since Artemis Vision was founded in 2010, and built sort of one unit on just hey, we need to read these barcodes at this speed in this place, and have basically continued to build custom units, and those have gotten cheaper over time, and have then standardized this on a product. So another question, how do you handle bad lighting? Is there a place to put extra lights? So we do recommend that you light your dock door area well. That the more lighting we have, the less motion blur there is on the code, the better we can read the codes at speed. This system is adapted to read codes at speed, but there's obviously ways to get it to perform better and ways to get it to perform worse. And so we do recommend having good lighting at your dock door, just as a safety issue as well. We have some LEDs that we can provide recommendations in terms of just overhead lighting, but most any LED overhead lighting is going to work just fine. So we recommend lighting the dock door well. Another question, the motion-based decode, what is the maximum speed the Pallet barcode can decode? So in our testing here, we support up to 12 miles per hour, 19 kilometers per hour, which is generally about the fastest speed you'll see a forklift drive into a truck. It will work beyond 12 miles per hour. We really don't recommend having forklifts driving onto the backs of trucks at 15 or 20 miles per hour, just for safety concerns. But we test up to 12 miles per hour, and it will work beyond that. Okay, a lot of questions. Looks like that's it though for our questions. So with that, we'll conclude the webinar. If you have any further questions or anything else comes up afterwards, you'll see up on the screen contact info to get in touch with us, either via phone or email, and we're happy to answer anything that comes up later. Great, thank you everyone.